Good evening, friends, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Detroit for tonight's second national semifinal game between the Villanova Wildcats and the North Carolina Tar Heels. Now let's meet the starting lineups. Making their first trip back to the Final Four since 1985 when they won the national title. Here are the East Regional Champion Villanova Wildcats.
Could it happen again? Cinderella's back in the dance. Scrappy, tough, balanced, little engine that could. Never count a Wildcat team in the Final Four. Never. Could it happen again? Crazier things have happened. We are Villanova.
Starting tonight for the Villanova Wildcats, at forward, a senior from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, number 20, Shane Clark. At forward, a senior from Silver Spring, Maryland, number 22, Dwayne Anderson. At center, a senior from Silver Spring, Maryland, number 33, Dante Cunningham. At guard, a junior from Herndon, Virginia, number 1, Scotty Reynolds. At guard, a junior from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, number 15, Reggie Redding. From the South Regional, appearing in a record 18th Final Four. Please welcome the ACC regular season champion, North Carolina Tar Heels.
Remember us? We're back.
You want tradition? You want dedication?
You found the right team. We're motivated. We're hungry.
We're back to claim what's ours.
We are Carolina.
Starting tonight for the University of North Carolina Tar Heels, at forward, a senior from North Babylon, New York, number 14, Danny Green. At forward, a junior from Torrance, California, number 21, Dion Thompson. At center, a senior from Poplar Bluff, Missouri, number 50, Tyler Hansbrough. At guard, a junior from Clinton, Maryland, number 5, Ty Lawson. At guard, a junior from Wynwood, Pennsylvania, number 22, Wayne Ellington. And introducing the head coaches for Villanova in his 8th season for the Wildcats, Jay Wright. And for North Carolina in his 6th season for the Tar Heels, Roy Williams. Well, Clark Kellogg, there he is, Jay Wright. He's the only rookie coach here among the quartet, made it to Detroit. All the other 3, of course, have won championships. Here's the Villanova Road 2. They were able to stay in Philadelphia. They were 14 down against American second half. Came back to win it, trounced UCLA, defeated Duke by 23, and then on to Boston with that not only Duke win there, but also the Pittsburgh performance and the Scotty Reynolds winner. Up in Beantown, here's North Carolina. First through Greensboro, Radford, the first victim. Then LSU at Lawson, a monster second half in his return. On to Memphis and Gonzaga in the Sweet 16. And ousting Oklahoma, really a comfortable double-digit lead most of that second half. It was a 9-point halftime lead. They've won every game, the Tar Heels, by a minimum of a dozen in all 4 tournament wins. This game brought to you in HDTV by Harris Corporation, the world leader in broadcast systems for high-definition television and mobile media. Carolina will be in the home whites here as a 1 seed. And Villanova was the 3 seed and eventual winner of that East bracket. How do you see it here, Clark, before tip?
Well, on the surface, Jim, this looks like a classic case of size versus speed. Size on North Carolina's side, the speed of the Villanova Wildcats. But don't be surprised at the physicality of Villanova. This is probably pound for pound. If this was a heavyweight fight, this is the strongest team in the field, the Villanova Wildcats. Their guys are aggressive, physically strong, and extremely confident.
Looked like Thompson stole the tap away from Cunningham, and here's Hansbrough, and he is fouled already. The man has made more free throws than any player in the history of college basketball. Will go to the line 6 seconds in to shoot 2, and that foul is on Redding. Villanova's 4th overall Final Four appearance. The Wildcats played in the very first Final Four up in Evanston, Illinois, on the Northwestern campus. And they ended up losing in the semifinal, only to win the 3rd place game. That inaugural year of 1939. One more coming for Hansbrough. He's an excellent shooter at the line.
He's 86% on the year, and he misses his first 2. Talking to Jay Wright yesterday, he said it's important for his team to execute well offensively. Space the floor, move the ball, take good shots, and that's a good look for Cunningham.
Tipped around and picked up by Clark with the poke back. North Carolina had not trailed for the last 79 minutes in the tournament. The first basket here gives Villanova the lead, and a steal by Reynolds. Takes the high dribble, pulls up on the wing, got stuck, bank, swish, and it comes back out. No, it's Lawson. And Lawson, he is just the fastest player on the floor every time the foul is against Reynolds.
Well, fortunate foul there because Lawson had an easy one had not Scotty Reynolds bumped into him. I started to make the point about Villanova's offensive execution. They space the floor, they'll dribble, drive you, looking to get to the lane or kick it out for threes. And if they can do that effectively, it gives them a chance to get their defense established, and it also gives them a chance to get to the offensive glass with the floor so spread.
Well, that went right to the fingertips of Thompson, and there's a foul on Lawson, trying to put an end to the fast break of the Wildcats. So, 1 on Lawson.
Turnover opportunity for Villanova, and there's the bump by Lawson. North Carolina, Jim, has only averaged 11 turnovers a game in the tournament while forcing 15. Villanova is going to try to flip that script by forcing turnovers so they can get out and run.
Anderson, he's having an outstanding tournament, off the mark with the 3.
Expect North Carolina to try to punch this ball inside at every opportunity.
Cunningham and Hansbrough, a lot of shoving in that matchup. Ellington. Oh, that one went way up into the sky and came down true for Wayne Ellington. Carolina's first points.
I call that jump shot honey sweet.
Honey sweet.
Honey sweet.
A rainmaker.
Boy, he's been really outstanding with his shot selection and his shot-making efficiency, has Wayne Ellington.
And meanwhile, Dwayne Anderson from Villanova gets the turnaround. He had a team-high 17 points in the victory over Pittsburgh in that regional final. Now they feed the post. Hansbrough with Clark behind him. Last touch by Villanova's Clark.
Even though he's playing behind him, Jim, he's going to be active with his hands. You saw him get his hands in there, and that's what Villanova does well. They move their feet. Because they're stronger than they appear, they're able to hold their ground, and they flick balls away from you.
Lawson with the 3, and he bangs it home. It's almost like it's a set shot. He gets that perfect rotation, gets a little separation. And people, I'm not sure, have figured it out yet. You got to respect that shot.
Oh, you have to. He is in the 50-40-80 club. 50% from the field, over 40% from the three-point line, and 80+ from the free throw line. That's an exclusive club, especially if you're a point guard.
Anderson able to keep it with the offensive rebound. And steps back for a 3. That's Ellington. Reaching up high for that. Green, he'll take it from the wing with the 3. No. It's going to be on Hansbrough. Nope. That was on Thompson, his first.
How about to look at this rotation? Good hand position on the ball, and that's textbook, folks. Nice end-over-end rotation and right on line.
It looks effortless to me, Clark.
Yeah, it is. You called it, Jim. It's kind of a set shot. He does get slight elevation, but it's more of a set shot. He's worked extremely hard to make that a potent weapon in his arsenal, the three-point shot. What it does is it opens up his driving lanes because you have to respect his ability to shoot it.
And coming right off the bench, it's Corey Fisher for Villanova.
Jim, keep an isolated camera on number 10 for Villanova, Corey Fisher. He can go on individual scoring runs all by himself. He's that kind of explosive offensively.
Big East sixth man of the year. Meanwhile, Ellington has another basket. This one a three. Right back Fisher. No. Surprisingly way off for Fisher. Lawson. Ellington. Everyone thought he would take it. That's batted right back to Lawson. Hansbrough going to challenge Cunningham. That Hansbrough shot we've seen for 4 years from the hip.
Yeah, and Cunningham unable to bother it. Hansbrough did a nice job getting his body on Cunningham that time.
Cunningham at the other end tries a little hook shot, and he's on top of Hansbrough.
I think it may have been Shane Clark coming in, perhaps. Nope, you're on top of it.
It was a Cunningham that time. Here comes Corey Stokes in for Villanova. Another sub. This is really a pretty strong Corey set that comes in off the bench. Fisher and Stokes.
Yeah, they're a nice tandem. Corey Stokes is a catch-and-shoot guy primarily, but he's added the ability to take you off the dribble this season.
Ellington lost it. Lawson from the floor gets it back to him. Ellington, his first miss. Fisher challenging Lawson. Boom! Cunningham. Whip it down low. Ed Davis, freshman, no whistle from the floor. It's Green. Lawson says, I'll take another one. Hansbrough snags it. And again, he draws the foul. Hansbrough will return to the line when we come back. 10-8 start. Tar Heels. Here's the tournament summary, and you know, Clark, it's all kinds of delicious possibilities now for Monday night with Michigan State already set up. We're going to see Hansbrough at the line. That last foul was on Stokes, his first. Imagine if it's Michigan State Villanova for a moment. That would mean Michigan State, to win a championship, would have to go through first Louisville, then UConn, and then Villanova. Big East, Big East, Big East. Wow. That would make them the Big Ten and Big East champions and national champions. And then, if of course, it turns out to be North Carolina, they played here on this court in this stadium back in December. North Carolina beat them handily, but Suton was not there. Here's Anderson.
Well, you're salivating either way.
It is. You know,
no, it is very interesting.
And there's some neat history with North Carolina and Michigan State in the tournament, too. They played in 2005 in St. Louis in the semis. They played in 57, a triple overtime game.
That's right.
On North Carolina's way to winning a triple overtime finale as well over Kansas. Reading out.
So half-court pressure here by Villanova. North Carolina showed some full-court pressure out of the timeout the last trip. So both coaches trying to mix things up a little bit.
Danny Green, he launches. Knocks it down, Danny Green.
Well, he's been solid in the tournament, Jim, after really struggling the last few ball games prior to the NCAA tournament. 14 points a game, 7 of 17 threes in the tournament so far. And he's had a 4-to-1 assist-turnover ratio, and right in the middle of forcing a turnover there.
North Carolina has brought out Bobby Fraser, senior guard, and Redding with a quick return. Fisher down. Carolina's hit 3 out of 5 threes.
but they've been shooting it extremely well. 45% three-point shooting throughout the tournament, Jim.
Razor. And that's off Villanova.
You can see Villanova not going to be content to play behind Hansbrough. They're going to try to come up with steals, and when they do that, they've got to make sure weak side help is ready to cover if, in fact, the steal isn't made.
Hansbrough makes the move to get the open shot for 2 more, and it's a quick 9-point Carolina advantage.
That's the point I was making, Jim. That time, Dante Cunningham did not get over there and get his body up against Hansbrough, and that was an easy layup.
7 unanswered for the Tar Heels.
Nobody spurts better than North Carolina. They're so explosive and much better defensively than they've been given credit for.
Oh, and they triple team Cunningham. And here's the game we talked about December 3rd here. Michigan State and North Carolina. Same arena, not the same floor, technicality. And the 98 points, the most ever allowed by a Tom Izzo coach team. Fadeaway 3. Reynolds follows it up wisely, only to see Thompson knock it out of bounds. But there's not much you can read into that game if that ends up being the championship matchup, is there, Clark?
Well, Michigan State had played 3 games in 8 days and had traveled extensively. And that game, the Spartans were really leg weary as a turnover committed by Villanova. So you take a look now, danger zone for Villanova. Not making perimeter shots, turning it over a little bit. Now trying to apply some full-court pressure. Carolina able to knock down 3s and get the ball inside.
Another easy basket. Ellington feeds it to Thompson. And Villanova has to settle things for a moment. The lead is at 11. All 5 starters have already scored. And we're about 6.5 minutes in. Jim Nance, Clark Kellogg. North Carolina's already hit 3 out of 5 from 3. They've hit as many 3s as UConn hit for the entire game earlier today.
Well, they're a more proficient three-point shooting team than UConn, and they've got such balance, Jim. They hurt you outside, they hurt you inside. When you play North Carolina, it's about which medicine are you going to choose defensively.
They're on a 9-0 run. Meanwhile, Villanova 0 for 5 from 3. Nice move by Anderson. Squeezes through the defenders and gets the basket to end the run.
Zone defense now by Villanova.
That's at Davis. Clark got a hand on it. Quickly up ahead to Clark. Thompson lands on him and will be whistled for the obvious infraction there. Thompson, that'll be his 2nd.
Good ball fake. Thompson joins the paratroopers club and as a result commits the foul when he lands. Got to keep your feet defensively.
That's the 3rd one on North Carolina. And another Carolina, number 4 on Carolina, Ed Davis with his first. Here's the Carolina story from 3.
Well, that was a warm-up jump shot for Ty Lawson. No defender in sight. Quick trigger from Danny Green. And again, they hurt you inside and outside, do the Tar Heels.
Hansbrough's back on the floor.
I would anticipate Villanova would try to do a little more pick and roll action involving Dante Cunningham so he can maybe get free for that mid-range jump shot of his. Like to space the floor and spread out the defense and then try to drive you on ball reversal.
Oh, it's Lawson. With the steal in the basket. 21-10 North Carolina. Anderson. That's Hansbrough battling Clark and coming away with it. There's that Lawson speed to the hole. Tapped up and in.
Well, Jay Wright talked about his team needing to rebound when we visited with him yesterday. And then executing offensively. I think Villanova's shooting a little too quickly, Jim. They've got to move that ball a little more.
That tapped in by Lawson. Here you go. Easy shot set up by Reynolds. Clark dunks it down.
Drive and dish.
And Ellington. And he, too, hits an outside shot. That's his second three. 26-12. Villanova now has matched the largest margin of the deficit of the tournament. Down 14 in the opening round to American. In the second half, came back to win. But Tar Heels in rhythm early. 26-12 start. It was 40-12. Kansas with 7 minutes to go in the first half. Down 28, would later trim it to 4. But this is, if you will, by margin, a 42-point turnaround the other way, a 26-12.
Well, this North Carolina team, Jim, we've been with them throughout the tournament. They are focused, they are experienced, and they are on a mission. Good opportunity that time by Dante Cunningham. If Villanova's going to get back in this game, they've got to execute offensively and knock down shots. I mean, they were 6 of 20 before that shot by Cunningham goes down, and they're 0 of 6 on three-pointer. And then they've got to attack when they get defensive rebound. Push that ball in transition. There you go. Scotty Reynolds hooping hard.
Coming out of the break with a quick 4 and a foul on Green. That's his second. 2 on Thompson, 2 on Green.
Nice job by Fisher to get it to the middle of the floor. He had both lanes filled, and then Reynolds with the defenders backpedaling. Jim, I always think when you're a good offensive player and defenders are backpedaling, you should get a high-quality shot. Recognize what you've got, be strong with the ball, and get into that defender's body so you can get what you want. And Scotty Reynolds did it perfectly there.
Danny Green reacting like he had a tooth knocked loose. Reynolds front of the rim, so unable to cash in on the three-point chance. Hansbrough will take it from the outside, showing this year in his senior year an outside game. He's got 8 already. He's already matched what he had in the regional final against Oklahoma.
Well, I think North Carolina has Villanova in a pickle defensively. They want to trap. They want to try to disrupt Carolina, but this North Carolina team is so efficient inside and out. They're taking whatever Villanova's defense gives them.
Cunningham hitting another outside jumper. This time they close in on Hansbrough. He kicks it out to an open Ellington with a 3. Yes!
You can't gamble and make mistakes against these guys. Ellington's loving it. His defender lunged, took himself out of the play, and that's a warm-up jump shot for a sweet shooting Wayne Ellington.
And North Carolina now 5 of 8. Beyond the arc. That's Redding. Villanova's starting to hit some shots after a cold start.
Yep. Now they've got to be able to ramp it up defensively now, Jim. They've got to be solid. You can't over-gamble. You've got to be judicious in going for steals. There's a good scrap there.
Coming out with it, Villanova. Fisher. He challenges Frazier and Ellington, and it'll be on Frazier. Ellington, and he can shoot. When he gets that rhythm going, well, they've never lost a game when he shot 50% from the field in his career.
Well, he's been on a rip, like I said, for about 2+ months. I mean, he's been right in rhythm, either catching and shooting, or off the dribble. He's improved his rebounding. He's improved his defense. He's become a complete player, and he's always been an outstanding shooter.
Here comes Tyler Zeller, 7-foot freshman. Out of Washington, Indiana, which is halfway between Indianapolis and Evansville. And here comes one more for Fisher. Had a lot of free throw opportunities in the tournament and shot 90% coming in. Unable to hit that one, either one of them. No for Redding. trying to draw the foul, doesn't get the call. Going back Villanova. Tomorrow on CBS, join superstars Carrie Underwood, Kenny Chesney, Keith Urban, Taylor Swift, Tim McGraw, Miley Cyrus, and more when Reba hosts the Academy of Country Music Awards live. It's tomorrow on America's #1 network, CBS. So 31-20, North Carolina with the big start in rhythm like they've been all tournament long. Reynolds, that's a three. Down to 8. And that's their first make from out there. Now 1 of 7 as a team. Right back, though, Reynolds commits the foul. That's for Reynolds, his second.
That's all Ty Lawson, getting into the body of Scotty Reynolds as he dribbled towards the goal. He was able to draw that foul because he got up into Reynolds, who took probably not the best angle against the quickness of Ty Lawson. You've got to give him a little room so you can cut off that driving angle.
So they pull him. Here's the lob. Comes right back out to Frazier. Quick to the spot. Lawson weaving past 3 players. Thompson inside and got it this time.
Well, that's terrific persistence by Deon Thompson. How about the nifty ball handling by Lawson to avoid 3 defenders and then leave it for Thompson. And when he missed it inside, he was the first guy who knew where it was going to come off, and then he just pursued it and got himself an opportunity for a 3-point play.
Got the foul call against Antonio Pena.
You know, Jim, when that defense gets broken down like that, boy, the lanes to the offensive glass are plenty.
3-point play by Thompson. Gives him 11 a game, and Carolina lead is at 11. Cunningham. Scoops it over to Zeller. He's rejected, but right back to Ellington. Now first outside. Breaking the action here, and Carolina continues in control.
Well, the story of the game, folks, right here. 3-point shooting for North Carolina. Villanova finally made one. Got one from Scotty Reynolds a couple of possessions ago, but that's the difference in your ball game right now.
Hey, in the crowd of 72,000, add Goran Sutan, Michigan State team coming out. And oh, look at this. This is very unusual. The UConn team. I don't recall ever seeing a team that's on the losing end of a first semifinal game, but they're taking their seats, and I applaud them for that. They're going to take the full Final Four experience here. And now watch Carolina and Villanova as Lawson hits the front end of a 1-and-1.
Well, perhaps a carryover. The teams will have had a chance to spend some time together on Thursday night when they got in town. NCAA salute.
For the opening ceremony.
Yeah.
Yep. Over at the beautiful Fox Theater, Detroit. Done a wonderful job hosting this Final Four. And enhanced for the locals, obviously, with Michigan State's play that continued today with its victory over Connecticut, advancing to the Monday night championship game.
Scotty Reynolds back on the floor with 2 fouls.
And that's a traveling call against Villanova's Reading. Well, it didn't take long. This happened a ways back. All the North Carolina starters got on the board early in this game, all in the scoring column.
Well, they all averaged double digits on the regular season, Jim, the 5 starters. And they do it because they share the ball. They've got shooters. They've got guys that can go off the dribble. They've got size and finishers up front. I mean, they've got the full package offensively. But I think it's the experience and the unselfishness that allows them to produce the points they do and the pace of play. They're never going to slow it up. They're coming at you full throttle all the time.
Ellington really feeling it right now, and the lead is 15, largest of the night, and Villanova's biggest deficit of the tournament. Reynolds, as Lawson got a little hand on that shot, a little piece of it.
Everything is labored for Villanova offensively. They're rushing. The shots are being challenged. North Carolina doing a nice job guarding the yard, we call it. Defending the dribbler effectively in a 1 to 2 yard area.
That was the first on Clark and the 8th Villanova foul as Fisher comes back. It'll be a 1-and-1 for North Carolina. We referenced now what happened a year ago when Kansas stomped on them early, and don't think that's not significant in the mindset of the Tar Heels when they were coming into this game this week. They've been waiting all year to avenge that, haven't they?
Without question, that's what they've been talking about, Jim. We've been around them for 3 weeks now, and everything you read and hear, these guys are locked into not just getting here, but playing at a high level in this game and then trying to win a national championship. They're well on their way right now. A long way to go, but the efficiency with which they're playing, very, very impressive. And defensively, Jim, they're challenging Villanova at every turn. Controlling dribble penetration, rotating effectively on the weak side. I mean, there's just a sense of purpose and tenacity about them that's allowed them to get this lead right now.
Foul on Zeller of the Tar Heels. And that's the 9th North Carolina foul. So it'll be a 1-and-1 coming up for Cunningham. And Monday, the Late Show with David Letterman. Don't miss Stupid Pet Tricks plus Paul Rudd. And then Craig Ferguson welcomes Amy Adams. It's Monday on CBS. The 9-0 run right now. The second big spurt, if you will, of this first half for the Tar Heels. Again, 1-and-1 here for Cunningham.
Well, if you're Villanova, you need all of this, Jim. You want to play at your pace. You don't want to play at North Carolina's pace, which is breakneck speed. In order to do that, you've got to come up with loose balls. You've got to make your foul shot so you have a chance to set your defense. Now, let's see what Villanova does here. Little full court pressure, but nobody's... Oh, there's a steal almost by Fisher.
Hand quote. Tried to feed the freshman. Fisher coming out with it, lobbing it up ahead. Redding stuck. Tipped out Ellington. Stays with Villanova.
Well, that was a perfect opportunity, I think, for a bounce pass from Fisher.
Scotty Reynolds with the 2 fouls coming back. Ed Davis, the freshman who's given them valuable minutes all season, particularly in the tournament. Back for Carolina. Fisher. Follow up Cunningham. Uncontested.
Well, the Tar Heels forgot about the box out there.
Cunningham with 10 of Nova's 27.
Now, can Villanova get stops without fouling? See, that's the next thing they've got to be able to accomplish in order to try to make a run before halftime.
Danny Green got the feet set and another 3. 10. They give him 6 now. 2 3-point baskets by Danny Green on the night. And that's on Green, that foul. That's his 3rd. 18th Final Four for this North Carolina program.
Those are some heavyweight names there, boy. Wow.
Bobby Fraser back on the floor as Green has to sit down with 3. It's actually now 9 Carolina fouls, so still a 1-on-1. Fisher had been 24 of 27 from the line in the tournament. And there's Thabit. Shaken up late in that game with about 2 minutes to play and missed some valuable time just as UConn had trimmed it to 4.
He took a hard fall on his tailbone. I imagine it would be more sore tomorrow after it stiffens up a bit. Full court pressure here again by Villanova. They're trying to scramble it up a little bit, come up with some turnovers.
Ellington. And look at Frazier. It's just 2 or 3 times now he's been in the right spot, but from behind, Anderson helps take it away from him.
This is where Villanova has to capitalize. You get the turnover. Now you've got to get something out of it.
Long rebound again. Into the arms of Frazier.
What a bounce pass.
Somehow threaded it to Hansbrough, which will set up more free throws. Second on Clark. Masters Live, folks, is going to be available for you this coming week. Exclusive video from down at Amen Corner. Amen Corner Live, plus coverage 15 and 16 live. And Masters Extra with bonus coverage of the entire field. It's all available. Check it out, CBSSports.com and Masters.com.org next week. Scotty Reynolds.
Well, Jay Wright going to continue to shuffle him in and out, trying to go offense, defense here, protect him a little bit with the 2 fouls. He needs his offensive leadership. Hansbrough has knocked down 3 of his 4 field goals, and now got 2 of 4 from the foul line for him.
Yep. And now 299 career NCAA tournament points. He's moving past some names here tonight. Already passed Austin Carr and Juan Dixon and Bill Bradley in this game alone on the career list, top 10.
But look at him sit down in the defensive stands out on the perimeter.
Cunningham. And last touch by Nova. Well, it's enough to be trailing by this much, but when there's a Philadelphia area kid like Wayne Ellington, extra damage. You know?
A little salt in the wound.
Yeah, he's from Wynwood, Pennsylvania. Over the top, they feed it. Davis. Tough shot to the lefty. Davis will be the shooter. I know it's going the other way. That foul's actually on Davis. 2 on him. And double bonus time. Anderson to shoot 2.
Well, this senior's had some kind of season. Very consistent. And a solid producer at both ends.
Willie Massimino, the godfather of the program. He's going to chomp that gum. He's going to wear it out. Yeah, he's not happy right now. Do you ever know how he feels? Is he? Is he not the easiest guy to read of all time?
He lets it show.
You gotta love him.
Yeah, tremendous passion, enthusiasm, energy, and he'd like to see the Villanova Wildcats knock down a few more shots. But with the free throws made, he can see his team get into some full court pressure.
Led this team to the championship April the 1st, 1985. The perfect game against Georgetown.
It was remarkable to watch his team execute almost flawlessly.
Hansbrough going back to the line. I got a flashback for that one. Lexington, Kentucky. Rupp Arena was the site. Villanova, an 8th seed in the tournament. The lowest seeded team to ever win the national title. Villanova has done it, said Brent Musburger on CBS that night. And there's John Thompson sitting about 7-8 people down from us, calling this game on our partnership radio network. Westwood One and CBS Radio.
Yeah, had a chance to visit with Coach Thompson briefly before the game. Always good to see John. One of the legends and pioneers in the game.
That last foul was on Pena of Villanova, his second. We have under 4 minutes to play in this first half, and it's been, again, a comfortable margin for North Carolina since the opening minutes. A lot of that has to do with the play of Ellington. Lighten it up from outside. Historic night here at Ford Field, the all-time attendance mark at a national semifinal, bettering the Superdome in New Orleans back in 1987. And what do you think about this field you're getting here tonight?
I tell you, I have been thoroughly impressed. I walked around a little bit before the first semifinal game and pretended to be a fan in one of the seats. Well, man, I tell you, the sight lines are excellent. The energy and electricity here has just been terrific. It's been an outstanding venue here today, and it'll be even more so Monday with Michigan State already ready to be in the championship game.
Jump step, Hansbrough. Tap, Well, they say last touch by Carolina. Cunningham at the other end hit a shot a moment ago. He's been hitting a few from outside. He's got 12 to lead the Villanova way at the moment.
They need to get a couple of threes to go down. They can get this thing somewhere in the neighborhood of 10, maybe a tad below that. They'll have to feel good going into the second half. Carolina really rotating nicely at the defensive end, and then the size just too much to overcome for Fisher against Ed Davis there.
Ellington rattles out. There's Fisher at the other end with the board. Reynolds, he was setting up for this from 10 feet out.
You called it, Jim. You saw it. Trailing, allowed Fisher to get to the middle, draw those defenders, and then space out for the three. That's what they need to do. They've got to scramble this thing up and then knock down some three-pointers to have any chance.
Hansbrough, no. And they can get it under 10. It had been 17. A little flurry here by Villanova. Boy, Reynolds wanted it too. Takes it inside instead and gets it to drop. Timeout, North Carolina. Last 7 to the Wildcats. And the Nova Nation is rejuvenated. AT&T at the half.
Well, that young man came up big when his team needed him today, Raymond Morgan.
Didn't he, though? And Tom Izzo mentioned that to us when we were out there talking to him after the game.
Yep.
Oh, perfect feed to Hansbrough. Lawson with yet another assist. That 1-2 punch inside out.
Called play out of the timeout, too, Jim. Roy Williams wanted to stem the tide a bit. Called the play and got a basket.
Fisher, no. On the floor to Carolina and a tie-up. Staying with Villanova. That basket by Hansbrough breaks a 3.5-minute field goal drought, and Roy now making sure his team doesn't let the mental focus slip here in the last 2 minutes of the first half. Reynolds. Not this time. And untouched, out of bounds, back to Carolina. Redding for Reynolds. They don't want Reynolds to pick up another cheap foul. He already has 2.
Yeah, well, Jay Wright has massaged that situation quite well with Scotty Reynolds. He picked up that second personal foul quite a while ago, and he's been able to be effective without picking up the third, as Jay has substituted him in and out. Pretty good job here. Now if you're Villanova, you got to stay solid. Stay solid, contain the ball, and challenge a perimeter shot.
4 on the shot clock. Lawson steps up. Hansbrough jumps in. He fell to the floor and travels.
And Roy Williams didn't like that. He thought Tyler Hansbrough may have been bumped.
Coach Roy in his 7th Final Four, 3 in 6 years at North Carolina.
Boy, these coaches, boy, they are into it. Kind of like us, Jim. This is good stuff. Villanova within striking distance if they can get a couple of back-to-back baskets here.
See how they play this last minute.
Oh,
Hansbrough right into him and help force that 7th turnover against Nova.
Mismatch now. Corey Fisher defending Tyler Hansbrough. And they're going to throw it in there to him, as they should. Good help by Anderson.
Anderson very slyly waiting for that pass to be thrown down that way.
He did a nice job getting himself in position, recognized the mismatch, and was ready to help his teammate on the backside.
Again, Pena comes in, Reynolds out. Ready to go with 6 on the shot clock.
Boy, nice hedge by Pena.
Hansbrough with a 3.
Want to get the last shot here.
Fisher going to take it all the way in instead. And it rattles in. But still, Carolina can match it at the other end. 5 seconds to go in the half. Lawson strip. Should Fisher have pulled back at the other end?
I think so, but he drove it, and he's very good at that. But I would have rather seen him back it out and try to get something at the end of the clock so that Carolina doesn't have a chance to add to its point total. That was a tough shot. Jay Wright thought Fisher had gotten fouled, but no real contact there, just a challenge.
Double bonus, 2 shots. Second foul on Redding. Well, Villanova still have a chance to, you would think, get a good look here with about 5 seconds to go. And, of course, that means offensive opportunity coming back. Let's get Reynolds on the floor, says Jay Wright.
Yep.
Davis leaves.
Now, if Ty Lawson misses the free throw, you got to make sure you block out and rebound. Can't assume that you're going to come up with the ball if he misses. If he makes, then you got plenty of time to advance it and get a good look.
Missed them both. Redding. 3-point shot at the buzzer. But they got it under 10. It had been 17. North Carolina led at 47-31 with 4 minutes left. Villanova closes at 9-2. All right, we're just minutes away from the second half here at Ford Field in Detroit. North Carolina leads it at 49-40. And Clark Kellogg, you crunched the numbers. You thought about it now.
You're the numbers cruncher.
And what do you see coming up here in the second half?
Well, I think Villanova's got to make some three-point shots, Jim. They only made 2 of 12 in that first half. The shooting from North Carolina was outstanding. They got it inside. They got it outside. They got it from the three-point line, off the dribble. I mean, they showed you everything in their offensive repertoire. Villanova stayed tight because Cunningham did what he usually does, carry the load offensively and on the glass. And you take a look at Cunningham's shot chart. 4 of 9, pretty solid. He got a couple inside. Stepped out and made the jump shot, which he normally does. But in order for Villanova to get back in it, they've got to make sure they get good looks at that three-point shot and knock some down.
Well, here is the in-game box score powered by CBS College Sports Network. Cable's home for NCAA March Madness. Check it out, folks. Not only the in-game box score, but CBS College Sports Network. You see Cunningham's 12, that's tops. Hansbrough's 14, leading the way for the Tar Heels. By the way, with Hansbrough 14 tonight, he's just the 5th player in the history of the tournament now to have over 300 points and 125 rebounds in NCAA tournament play, joining Elvin Hayes, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Christian Laettner, and Oscar Robertson. How about that company he keeps?
Very special.
You know, you think about Hansbrough in his career. It's really, I know times change. I know that you can't, it's tough to try to compare different generations and eras, but in his time and what he's done, and you talk about a decorated program and setting so many of the marks, you're talking about one of the great college careers
Jim,
ever.
it is one of the most distinguished college playing careers of all time, period. Whether you talk different eras or not, for the 4 years this young man has been in North Carolina, he's been consistent, he's been highly productive, and he's played the game with the energy and intensity and the effort you like to see it played with.
Only one thing left for him to do, and that's to win a championship ring. Here he is, Hansbrough. Shot stopped by Clark.
Big opportunity here for Villanova to get on the board first to start this second half.
Cunningham, Hansbrough defending. Hansbrough went for the charge, no call. Redding's open. Finds a seam and a foul against North Carolina. I say championship ring, that would be a national championship ring, because this bunch of this senior class here at North Carolina, they've accomplished some things, including back-to-back Final Fours, but not the big ones.
Well, they're working towards that opportunity here if they can play another strong 19 minutes. That's a second foul on North Carolina as Hansbrough got tied up with Cunningham.
Some Villanova teams had some second-half comebacks. You know, again, I mentioned it earlier, American in round 1 had them 14 down in the second half. Cunningham. And Danny Green, who had 3 fouls in that first half, able to clear it for Carolina. Also down 5 in the second half to Pittsburgh in that regional final. Winning it at the end with the Scotty Reynolds basket. Thompson, he is hit on the arm. Anderson's second.
You know, at the end of that half, the 9-2 run by Villanova to get to within 9. North Carolina lost a little bit of its edge.
Yep.
And they've got to reestablish that by getting that ball inside. Danny Green being out of the lineup because of the 3 fouls didn't help because he was so hot from the three-point line, he and Ellington, in that first half. Now can Villanova get something going offensively? That last possession, they moved the ball quite a bit. Quick trigger.
Oh, Redding with a 3, and there's life for Villanova here early in the second half.
Well, Jim, they make 7 threes per game on average. They went 2 of 12 in that first half, so the odds are against them continuing to shoot that poorly.
Carolina started 7 of 10. You see it's really slacked off since, including 3 of 10 the last 7 minutes of the first half. They got Villanova back into it. They did it with their D, and they do it here. 8 Carolina turnovers on the night. Reynolds can bring it to 4. Long rebound to Cunningham.
For another offensive rebound. That's 14 offensive rebounds for Villanova. That's a nice play by Cunningham.
And the shot made by Clark, and suddenly this game is tight. 50-45 North Carolina. Hansbrough. Charge call against Hansbrough. That's his second.
Reggie Redding seemed like he may have been under the hoop. Well, he may have cleared the basket area. On second review, he moved quickly and may have cleared the basket area effectively and was in solid position. And Villanova with a chance to add to the run.
It's a 22-10 stretch going back to the first half. They closed in on Redding quickly. That was Lawson with the quick feet. Cunningham with the 2. Oh, lips out.
That's his shot too, boy. That was a called play. Well executed and got just the shot they wanted for Cunningham there.
He's hit it several times tonight, but not that time. Now Lawson working it underneath. Back out Green. 3, yes. Danny Green.
Well, they missed that when he was on the bench with the 3 fouls in the first half. Look at that three-point shooting for the Tar Heels. Wow. Well, Villanova maintaining contact.
Redding lost it. Up ahead, Lawson. Reynolds picks up a foul. The basket, they haven't signaled good yet. I think it does, it counts.
Off the turnover, North Carolina makes you pay. Because when that guy gets it, Ty Lawson explodes to the basket. With poise and strength.
3rd on Reynolds.
Jim, we've seen this picture before. LSU made a good run at the start of the second half down in Greensboro, and Ty Lawson went to work.
Reynolds missing underneath. And this is going the other way.
You rarely see him out of control, but he left his feet to make a pass, and Villanova doing a nice job defensively there.
Hey, that's 3 on Lawson, so we got both point guards here.
Usually he's got both feet on the floor when he makes a pass, and that keeps him from charging. But that time he was off the ground and a tad out of control. That's the 3rd foul. Could be a big one here at the 16:49 mark.
There's a cut on Hansbrough's left hand. It's bleeding, and the officials have not seen it. Once they do, they're going to have to address it or have him taken out of the lineup. This is Reynolds. They jump in there to tie it up, and It's a favorable Villanova arrow.
Somebody just said it. I think I heard he's bleeding everywhere.
Now they sit.
Yeah, they've got it.
Look at Redding say, turn your hand over. He actually grabbed his wrist. He said, this is what I'm talking about. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. I saw it. Oh, yeah.
Tried to grab his hand and flip it.
Yeah, well, they wanted to. Redding wants to get it cleaned up.
I think Redding not so much wants to get it cleaned up. He wants to get Hansbrough on the bench.
Oh, is that what he wants to do?
Of course. Look at Redding here on the left. Hey, turn that thing over.
He just had a better angle.
I see now.
The extra blood there.
They've already substituted for him while they try to take care of it with their training staff.
They're trying to get that bleeding to stop. Get it wrapped up. Apparently Lawson's jersey may have picked up some blood there. They have to break out a new one.
How about this? Lawson's not going to be known as number 5 anymore.
25, it looks like.
Now number 25.
The Coreys have not gotten it going yet tonight for Villanova. Stokes and Fisher. Jay Wright needs those guys to produce some points for him.
Look at this defense closing in on him. Anderson, tough shot. There's a 3 short by Stokes, who's been hard-pressed to find any kind of opening.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jim. The defense of North Carolina, we saw it last weekend against Oklahoma. The closeouts, the rotations, the challenging of perimeter shots. We're seeing quite a bit of that here tonight as well.
So there he is, number 25 now. Not in your program. Well, you know, by being the ACC Player of the Year and making an All-America team this year, he's a junior. And he is assured now of having his number hanging in the rafters there at the Dean Dome down the road. And that rims out. Put back Anderson. No. Oh, tough stretch. Villanova had 2 close calls. Ellington. And Anderson with the position underneath. As I say, Lawson now has an opportunity tonight to see if he can get a second number honored there at the Dean Dome down the road.
They don't make it number 5, I'm sure. Nice penetration and another tough shooting break for Villanova.
He's missed the last 7 shots, Clark.
And 3 of them were high quality.
And Danny Green has broken their heart twice here in the second half.
Well, Danny Green has found his stroke. He struggled for about 4 or 5 games prior to the NCAA tournament. And the last couple, he has been the Danny Green of most of the season.
He's hit 4 threes already. Surveys, pulls up. Not this time. Hansbrough. They say Hansbrough is on top of a Wildcat. His 3rd. 3 on Lawson, 3 on Hansbrough. Under the heading of you never know when you're going to meet up with someone again, check out this. Dante Cunningham and Ty Lawson. Opposing teams tonight, but on the same team back in 1995 and co-coached by their fathers, Ron Cunningham and George Lawson. That is the Andrews Magic team at Maryland's Andrews Air Force Base. When they were both 7 years old, Ty and Dante were teammates. How about that?
Early starts for both of them. Organized ball at 7 years old.
You know, else was on that team was Cedric Jackson of Cleveland State.
Yeah, he had a terrific year this season.
Yeah, led the way in their big win over Wake Forest in the first round of the NCAA tournament. One of the Cinderella stories of the first round for sure, if not the biggest of all.
I actually had a chance to see Cleveland State's coach Gary Waters earlier today to congratulate him on the season and first round tournament win.
Okay, Villanova had it down to 5 and had possession.
Zone defense here by North Carolina. which means you can move the ball and get perimeter shots if you're aggressive.
Redding trying to squeeze it out. Owen Reynolds did not make a play on it, allowing Lawson to scoop it up.
Well, I think he deemed that he might not be able to get to it without fouling. And that gave Lawson the opportunity to pick it up.
Look at the foul situation. I mean, we're talking big names on that North Carolina side. 3 of them with 3.
And that's part of the reason I think you saw Roy Williams go to the zone there, Jim. They haven't played a lot of zone, but with the foul trouble, you want to still be aggressive, but it does give you a chance to protect some key players by going to the zone defense.
That last foul was on Fisher, his first, and 5 team fouls on Villanova this half versus 3 against Carolina. So it's back up to 14. Another short shot missed. Fisher waits, not this time.
Boy, little fella in there battling.
He's not going to let that one get away. They have missed 11 consecutive shots before that one. Here's Ellington. Frazier to Lawson. Right past 3 Wildcats. And a blocked foul against Villanova. Yeah, Villanova was way off the mark for a stretch after trimming it to 5. They missed 11 straight.
And they had a couple of segments like that. Tough luck there, and even tougher luck that time from Anderson. And when you're undersized and you're overmatched, you've got to get all of those shot opportunities to go down. The three-point shooting has been lacking. They haven't quite been able to turn North Carolina over as much as Jay Wright would have liked to have seen to this point.
Lawson, surprisingly, 4 out of 9 from the line. And by the way, he's going back to number 5. Short-lived career at 25. And Hansbrough takes it right away. Seemed a little panicky by Villanova that trip. Here's Lawson with a 3. And Bobby Frazier again anticipates.
Villanova not coming up with the loose balls they normally come up with. That's a big part of them being able to compensate for their lack of size, is coming up with the loose balls.
Fisher over Hansbrough, and it's back to 10.
Now this kid, I'm going to tell you folks, Corey Fisher is going to continue to put the pedal to the metal and get that ball up on the rim. He's got a mid-range game. He's a streaky three-point shooter, but he's fearless, and he's got a knack for getting by the first defender to put pressure on the defense.
Frazier goes right past. This is the short shot. He's come in with 5 rebounds, had a chance to get in the scoring column. Tucked away, it's Hansbrough over to Lawson. And now with the Villanova defender down, they've got the numbers. Foul on Anderson first. Thursday on CBS, 2 mysteries that will leave CSI puzzled right to the end. Lawrence Fishburne stars a new episode, TV's #1 drama, CSI, on America's #1 network, CBS. Cunningham sitting down. That's the 3rd foul on Anderson. And Lawson also taken out for the Heels. Carolina's on a cold stretch too. It's missed its last 7, and that's a reach in on Anderson, who had just picked up his 3rd, and this will be his 4th. Only 2 matter of seconds. So he's out. Stokes is in.
Well, they're going to need some offense from Corey Stokes. Averages about 10 a game. And with Dwayne Anderson out, look at Danny Green, and then Ed Davis battling on top of that.
And again, right to the spot. Frazier keeps possession. His 6th rebound. That's Davis. They've missed some short shots here. Carolina going ice cold. Stokes trying to save it and does. Up to Fisher. Behind the back. Doesn't get the spin.
Well, Villanova's only chance is to scramble this thing up with a frenetic defensive effort, and they've got to try to do it without fouling.
Davis with the basket, and a free throw coming up. He just produced the first bench points of the night from North Carolina. Makes it a 13-point bulge. It had been 17, was whittled down to 5, back up to 14. And now it rests at 13. That's Stokes coming over. He saw it coming. Nova only 4 out of 19 in this half from the field. And a lot of close range misses. That shot was blocked.
Villanova just not patient enough in their attack off the dribble, Jim. They're best when they space the floor and move that ball side to side and then dribble penetrate.
Lawson on net. Back to 16.
Look at the difference in the three-point shooting. That's your ball game.
Stays with Villanova. Thursday on CBS. Beware, there's a killer among the wedding guests. The mystery event, Harper's Island. It premieres this Thursday on CBS after CSI on the Most Watched network. 6 unanswered to North Carolina. Reynolds, that shot influenced. And that Carolina defense. They close in on the shooters in a hurry.
They've really done a nice job of that, Jim. Challenging the jump shot without fouling.
3 out of 21 from 3 for Villanova. And
Villanova has not helped its cause by taking some contested early jump shots without moving the defense or the ball. That's his shot. Oh, he overshot that one. Now see if Villanova can get something in transition.
Redding coming in. Gets the layup. Zipped right between Lawson and Frazier. How do they do it, Clark? I mean, here we are approaching midway second half. How can they come back?
Well, they've got to defend and come up with turnovers, Jim, and then you've got to be able to push it ahead and get some easy ones. They've really struggled shooting the ball from the perimeter. They've not been able to defensive rebound effectively. So Carolina has been able to get second shot opportunities. And unlike Villanova, when North Carolina has had a chance to knock down a three in a timely fashion, the Tar Heels have done it. Villanova is not.
That foul on Frazier, his second. You know, this is the 70-year anniversary of the first Final Four. There have been so many people who have contributed to the growth and the evolution of this great event. And one, well, we lost this past year since last year's gathering in San Antonio. David Kaywood passed away last July at the age of 64. He was very instrumental in the management of media and presentation of the Final Four for over 20 years, and very much missed here at this year's Final Four in Detroit, but remembered by all. And Deion Thompson and Ed Davis. You see Davis coming in for Thompson. Cunningham. Bounces off the rim twice. Hansbrough's underneath. Hansbrough now has a double-double. That was his 10th rebound. Foul outside first. I don't know how he finds these little openings, these tiny seams.
I'll tell you exactly how he does it.
Is it footwork or what is it?
It's a combination of things. One, he's got rush hour handle. In other words, he can dribble in rush hour traffic. Bodies all around him. He's got tremendous strength, so you can't push him off the ball. Then his balance is outstanding. So all of that allows him to get into tight crevices and not get bumped off stride and find a way to get the ball up on the rim.
Now Lawson hits a free throw here. 5 of 10 on the night, and I know this is usually something that is another strong suit for him, as you mentioned. Remember that, was it 80-40?
50-40-80.
50-40-80. Oh, okay. Guys, you saw that last view, the depth perception. Many have wondered about. Maybe it is an issue. Who knows? It's about 55 yards if you want the nearest point of a backdrop behind the glass for a shooter. I mean, could that be part of the story here for Villanova tonight?
I don't think so. I mean, North Carolina's made half of their three-point shots. So, I mean, they're shooting in the same building. I think it's more the defense of Carolina. There's another challenge shot around and out. I think it's more the defense and the shot selection of Villanova than it is the depth perception.
Shane Clark will send Lawson back to the line. What do you see out of Lawson tonight?
Everything we've come accustomed to seeing from him. Taking what's available. Picking his spots and producing at a high rate of efficiency. You know, coming into this game, he had 20, in the 3 tournament games he played, 20 assists, 2 turnovers.
You like that if you're a coach? You'd like a 10-to-1 ratio, wouldn't you? I mean, unbelievable.
I mean, his career assist to turnover is approaching 3-to-1. High 2s, 2.6, 2.7.
Which is fantastic,
outstanding.
Right? Yep.
Outstanding, off the charts. Especially because he's got the ball all the time. No, that's what you call a high-level custodian. You can put everything in his care and know that it's going to get where it needs to be taken.
That was the 4th foul on Clark, so he's sitting over there by his coach now. Oh, Reynolds somehow underneath.
He's pretty crafty, too, when he gets in traffic.
That's his first basket of the second half. That's a clean play on Hansbrough.
Well, how about the pass by Lawson?
Yeah.
I mean, tight quarters, right on target.
Danny Green rattles out a 3. Maybe there's another run at him. Got it down to 5 early here in the second half.
But at some point, Jim, you run out of runs. I mean, you've got to have something to fuel your energy level at the defensive end, and nothing does that like making shots. They've got to find a way to make a couple of shots back-to-back. Nice opportunity here. Redding taking advantage of Hansbrough, and Tyler kind of selling out a little early there.
And sitting out now.
Yeah, picked up his 4th
with
foul.
His 4th. And that's going to be the 7th on Carolina. There's a 1-and-1 coming up for Reggie Redding. Junior from right there in Philadelphia, out of St. Joseph's Prep, where he played for Speedy Morris. You know, you think of, you get these Philadelphia schools and the coaching tree out of Philadelphia. We saw Coach Massimino, and Jay Wright talked about Eddie Burke, who he one time was an assistant for. He just passed away a couple of weeks ago. There's so many names, you can go on and on. But I tell you, one guy from Philadelphia I want to just give a nod to. His old CBS family here wants to send best wishes to Chuck Daly, who's watching Final Four tonight down in Florida. Wishing him all the best, Coach. You're loved around here. Lawson spin move. Look at him. Wriggle free, and Pena comes out with it.
Numbers here.
Fisher up high. Again, another short opportunity blown by Villanova.
Yeah, that's a tough shot, though. Maybe you can get a better one 3-on-2 in that situation.
Thompson. Planks off the rim into the arms of Stokes. Now Villanova is still, you pop a 3, you know, something like that. This game is still in question. Because they've missed the last 10 from 3. Anderson back out there with the 4 fouls. The season on the line. No reason to preserve him now.
That's right.
There's Fisher. Pena had a chance at it, but Davis takes it away. 11 straight misses from outside the arc. Here's Ellington. Not for the North Carolina side. His first second half points. Reynolds driving in, waiting. Nowhere to go. Fisher, big jump step, nice move. Kid's got some game, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Corey Fisher.
He's got a lot of offensive game, Jim. He's improved as a defender, but he can get to that basket. Villanova has just not been able to string anything together offensively. I think the size and length of North Carolina has bothered the smaller Wildcats, especially on some of those in-close shots.
Ellington steps up to no. All right, Villanova again. Number 6 to go. Fisher again. Lawson
should have went to the left hand there. Tried to shoot across his body. Tough angle. Going at that speed.
Pena. Just kind of slipped out of his hand. 3 of 24. Now remember, we were there. Oklahoma last Sunday in Memphis was 2 of 19. As Davis gets the shot, I'm going to do some quick math here. That would be what? 5 out of 43 from 3 by their last 2 opponents.
Well, some of that is good defense, Jim, but a lot of that is missed shots.
I think three-point shooting's made a little difference here tonight.
Just the skosh.
You know, Villanova saw its season end a year ago here at Ford Field. They were in the regional, the Midwest Regional last year, which had Stephon Curry and Davidson here. Right. Wisconsin was here, and Kansas.
That's right.
Yep, emerged from here on its way to the championship. So, you know, barring any, well, you use the word miracle, miraculous comeback here, 5:13 to go, and it's going to be Ford Field. It's going to end again. And let's see if they can do anything here in this last minute to get a pulse. The next minute, I should say. Anderson waiting. Clean block, Green. Clean block, Thompson. Wow. Carolina comes out with it.
That's an example of what I mentioned a moment ago. The size of North Carolina really bothering interior shot opportunities for Villanova.
And Ellington drains another from long distance. And now North Carolina has its largest lead of 18. Gymnast Clark Kellogg back here at Ford Field. There's the man who presided over the NCAA Men's Division I Basketball Committee this year, Mike Slive, the commissioner of the SEC. And what a tournament it's been, really, the way it's kind of worked its way to this point.
Fine job by the committee again, and we're going to have what looks to be a North Carolina-Michigan State championship game if Villanova can't knock down a bunch of threes and force a lot of turnovers.
Redding, there's one.
That's one of about 4 they need to really put some kind of pressure on North Carolina.
Cunningham steps in for the steal. And one coming up.
Well, they're 2 for 2 on three-point opportunities right out of the timeout.
Third foul on Thompson. And a break in the action here. They'll try to trim it to 12 when we come back. 4:20 remaining. 4:20 remaining, and they're going to be watching Redding coming to the line. And Redding hit a 3 early in the second half. Then as a team, Villanova missed, they missed 12 in a row from behind the line. And then Redding hit another one to break the streak. Now got a chance for a conventional three-point play.
So perhaps a 6-0 run by Reggie Redding himself, and that's exactly what it is. Full court pressure opportunity now.
Oh, Cunningham got a quick hand in there again. Tied it up, and the arrow belongs to Carolina.
Wow. Boy, North Carolina a little careless there. Good activity by Cunningham.
Dante had a steal just a short while ago, too.
See what happens sometimes, you get this lead, this comfortable cushion, and you get a little lax. The other team's playing out of desperation, and you can sometimes find yourself in more of a battle than you anticipate when you let off the gas pedal a little too soon. But the flip side of that, Jim, is all North Carolina needs to do is 1 or 2 rally-wrecking possession.
This could be one right there. Nope. Green, who already in this half twice kind of stemmed a little Villanova rally. And with less than 4 minutes to go, he got a timeout on the floor.
Tyler Hansbrough producing another double-double tonight. Working the glass. He's got 10 rebounds to go along with 15 points. He's had another solid night for the Tar Heels. One step closer to having a chance to play for a national championship.
304 points. Ties Lou Alcindor to 6th. And there's his mother, Tammy. Davis at the line, shooting 2, double bonus. Yeah, you know, in one night, he goes from tied for 10th on that scoring list as Hansbrough with Austin Carr to move past Carr, Juan Dixon, Bill Bradley, Corliss Williamson. And he's got 5 points to pass Weiss, moving to the top 5. Now a chance to, of course, add that total Monday night, it fully appears.
Boy, what a rebound by Danny Green. That was fantastic.
But Villanova, it's at 12 right now. If they could just somehow get these threes to turn around and they end here, who knows? Maybe there's one little dash of hope. This is not the way they shot the ball to beat Georgetown back in '85.
No.
They made 9 out of 10 in the second half that night in Lexington.
Well, no three-point line during that game, but they did shoot it exceedingly well. Close to 80% they shot for that game.
Yeah, 79% for the game.
Yeah.
They're at 33% right now overall. Via season 1.
Yeah, North Carolina's not shot that well since the second half. First half, but the three-point shooting. I mean, all you have to do is shoot 33% from the three-point line to be equivalent to 50% on twos, and Carolina's right at 50% on three-point field goal attempts tonight. 11 for 22.
Cunningham inside, and that's going against Cunningham. Danny Green stood in there, drew the charge, number 4 on Dante.
Penetration, nice lead. And there's Danny Green. Boy, he does a little bit of everything. Makes the threes, good job stepping up. Holding his position.
4 on Cunningham. Player has worn the Wildcat uniform more than anyone in school history. 139 times. Came close as a freshman. He was on that team that made it to a regional final up in Minneapolis, only to get defeated by Florida as the Gators were on their way to the first of 2 championships. Cunningham was 1 game away from a Final Four that year as a freshman.
He's really improved as much as any player in college basketball since his freshman season.
Tried to tap, clutched the rim for a second, and that's last touch by the heels. Anderson for Clark. Thompson with the body, and that's the 9th team foul against North Carolina. Sets up by 1-1. 4 on Thompson. Well, if it is North Carolina and Michigan State, we'll have another little ACC Big Ten challenge here Monday night,
That's
Clark.
right, a rematch from the game back in December. And I guarantee you it won't be a 35-point margin either way. Michigan State a much different team. And North Carolina playing at a high level as well. It should be some kind of matchup. Still 2:40 to go here, though. The Villanova has given no sign of being able to catch fire from behind the three-point line, and that's what it's going to take for any kind of comeback to be made. And then North Carolina would have to be cooperative in that with turnovers and missed free throws. Both teams have struggled from the floor here in the second half. 30% shooting for both Villanova and North Carolina, but timely three-point field goals made all game long. The difference in the scoreboard.
Anderson, the senior, has fouled out with that one. How about North Carolina's three-point shooting tonight?
45% they came into the game shooting in the tournament. And they did nothing to hurt that tonight because they're right about 50% right now. Ellington, Green has made 4 of 10. Ellington is 5 of 7. And the total is 11 of 22 from behind the arc. Look at that. How about that? Ellington out shooting the Wildcats from the three-point line all by himself.
So Anderson, he's gone now. Senior from Silver Spring, who was a teammate back at St. John's High School in D.C. with Dante Cunningham. They played ball together for so long.
Well, a heck of a run for this Villanova Wildcats team. Jay Wright getting to his first Final Four as a head coach. Did it with a senior lineup. Dante Cunningham, we just saw Dwayne Anderson,
yep.
Shane Clark.
3 seniors, 2 juniors.
Yep. And Jay Wright knew they needed to make shots to have a chance against the potent North Carolina team, and they just never found any offensive rhythm. Giving up a lot of size, knew it would be tough inside and on the board. Felt if they could make shots early, they would have a chance.
Redding in the paint. 2 minutes left.
Well, how about Carolina shooting 30% in the second half? And they still might go north of 80.
Yep, and they actually take a 9-point halftime lead to 14 with that shooting. You know, it's been a phenomenal year for the Big East Conference, and you know, you go back to 3 weeks ago tomorrow when we had Selection Sunday. Well, even going into that very week, you know, there was will there be 2? Will there be 3? You know, how many Big East teams will be number 1 seeds? Is it possible we'll have 2, 3, or 4 Big East teams at Ford Field? We got 2 of them here. We had 2 here, but they're both, it appears, going out tonight.
Yeah, but that doesn't take away from the year the conference had. It was one of the special years for any conference in the history of basketball at the collegiate level. An outstanding year, and 2 here in the Final Four, but both will bow out. And it'll be Michigan State and North Carolina.
And of course, for Cunningham, you saw it. He fouls out with 12 points, 12 rebounds, scored all of his points in the first half. Hansbrough to shoot 2.
Jim, we always talk about conferences and how many are in from a conference and how they fare in the tournament, but it ultimately comes down to team versus team matchups. That's what it ends up being about. Yeah, you want to carry the banner for your league, but it's about how your team matches up with who you're playing. And here at the Final Four, even though 2 Big East teams were here, they matched up against 2 opponents that got the best of them here tonight.
Now, Jay Wright first came to Villanova back in '87, 2 years after the title team, to assist this great man here. Jay Wright out of Bucknell had actually served as a marketing assistant for the Philadelphia Stars of the USFL. Sold season tickets and corporate packages. Jim Morrow was the coach. They won the USFL title, and he had a championship ring. So now he shows up a few years later, goes up and coaches with Mike Neer as an assistant at Rochester. Eddie Burke at Drexel. Comes to Rolly for Christmas, gift wraps one of those 85 title rings and gives it to him, even though he wasn't part of that team.
That's nice.
He said, "You're a member of our family now, and this, I don't want to see that Stars ring anymore. You're a member of our family." He wanted so desperately to win a ring here at Ford Field to be able to give a ring back to Rolly Massimino, and of course, could come
down
the road.
Perhaps he's one of the bright young coaches in our game.
Big East Coach of the Year.
Well, a tough night for these young guys. Well, you get to this stage and you so desperately want to have one of your best efforts, and sometimes it just doesn't happen that way. The opponent is tough. And the other part of it is sometimes you're just not on top of your game.
Pena in for Clark. This man at the line shooting one more. It was really Ellington shooting at the start that had Villanova on its heels quickly. 5 out of 7 on the night from 3.
Well, Jim, this team exactly where it was hoping to be after losing in the semifinals last year. North Carolina.
Yep.
These guys, some of them flirted with leaving school early, came back for different reasons, and they're here now.
Well, this was one of them.
Yeah, this is one of them. That's one of them. It's part of the equation.
They wanted to come back. It was almost like that season, 32-4 coming in here. There was that season. There was this season today, really almost in one game, to avenge that performance.
Yeah, well said.
And now there's another one, of course, Monday night for the whole thing. Lawson, it still ends up with Hansbrough.
North Carolina will shoot it. Well, they probably will just to get it up on the rim.
And last touch by Scotty Reynolds. But Michigan State and Carolina, how about this? They have already, in history, met 4 times in the NCAA tournament. 4-0 North Carolina. Because sometimes there's so many of these things that like go one way, that you set something up the other way for Monday night. But Carolina's 4-0 in the history of the tournament against Michigan State, including at the Final Four in '57, Final Four in 2005.
Well, partner, I think we're in for some kind of championship game Monday. The way Michigan State is playing, the way North Carolina has played throughout the tournament, the matchups, the atmosphere will be electric. There'll be plenty of powder blue and Spartan green.
Yeah, North Carolina is going to win this game double digits, and they'll be 5 for 5 on the run to Monday night. They come in here with every win by at least a dozen. Ball's going to end up in the hands of Hansbrough to close it out. Tar Heels rolling on to Monday night. Another convincing Carolina victory. Well, Clark, 63 games have been played.
Yep, and we've got one more.
One more.